Hey there, everybody. No intro today. It's late on a Sunday night. It's about 20 after 10, and I just want to get this game done and uploaded. Not that it's a chore, but it's just if I cut out some of the frivolities, I will get done faster, and be on my way. This is game number 6 for the White Sox. They have dispatched their opponents, the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. First 5 games of the season, they won all 3 in Toronto, won the 2 against Boston. Now they're starting a 3-game set with the Blue Jays. Here, today's game is April 15th in the calendar, and tomorrow the Cubs will be playing the Mets on April 15th. Cubs are 3-2 through 5 games. I mistakenly put game 6 in the last Cub video. It's only game 5. Each team has played 5 games. This is game 6 for the Sox against Toronto. And Sox will send right-hander Chris Knapp to the mound, and the Blue Jays will send right-hander Steve Hargan to the mound. And the starting lineups for the Jays, it is Garcia at second, Mason at short, Al Woods in left, Ron Fairley DH, Doug Auld at first, Sam Ewing right, Dave McKay at third, Gary Woods in center, and Alan Ashby the catcher. For the Sox, one slight change. Carr is on the bench, so Bannister leads off at short, Royal Stillman is in left field. Everything else pretty much the same. Ward at second, Zisk in right, Spencer at first, Gamble to DH, Soderholm at third, Lemon in center, and Essien behind the plate. Alright, so we are ready to get going here. And I'm going to try to use the same setup I had in the last Cub game, where both cards are going to be laying flat. Hopefully they show up decently on camera. At least I hope they do. And we're going to start things off. It is Pedro Garcia, and I'll pull this score sheet down when the Toronto team is batting. Garcia leads off against Knapp, righty on righty. It's a 3-9. 3-9, and starts the game off with a hit by pitch. Don't know if I've had that before, where the game started out on a hit batter. Kind of sets the tone right there, doesn't it? Garcia not too happy about it. He did not have any steals on the season, so he's not going anywhere. Here's Jim Mason. He is an A bunter, so they're going to have him bunt. He'll become a B bunter. It's a 6. That should be sufficient to get the job done. Look at these bunt chart, a 6 and a B. Actually, it says defense. So if we look at the defense part here, it says batter drops down a bunt, and defense has the option of throwing the batter out at first or trying to throw the lead runner out. Running speed -4 plus the fielder's defensive rating. So the bunt is a 1 here, which means that goes to the pitcher. So the pitcher, in this case Knapp, is a 3. So the running speed of the runner, Garcia, he's a 14. We take away 4. So it's 14 minus 4 makes that a 10. Add the defensive rating makes it a 13. So it's a 1 to 13, and he will make it. Or the White Sox can take the shore out at first and allow the sacrifice. And I think that's what they're going to do, because they don't want first and second, because if it's a 1 to 13, he's going to make it. So it's a sacrifice hit. We'll call it 1-4 on the sacrifice. And I could have taken a chance and tried to get the lead runner, but I think it's prudent at this point to minimize the base runners. So Al Woods is up, the runner at second, and 1 out. 1-10, and that's going to drive home a run right here. 1-10, 1-6 is a double, 7-20 is a single. They're both 2 stars, so that means Garcia is going to score regardless, and it is a double. So Al Woods with a 1-out double scores Garcia, and the Blue Jays jump to an early 1-0 lead. And here is Ron Fairley, DH, 4-12, and that's a potential home run, ballpark home run chance. In a night game in average weather, the home run chances are 1 to 2 for both lefties and righties, so not a good percentage. And it's not going to be, so it's a fly to right. And there's actually that's the second out, because the sacrifice was the first out. So Fairley didn't get all of it, and it's a simple fly to right to Zisk. And runner at second, 2 down. Here is Alt 110, and he's going to ground to short, and that's going to end the inning. So Toronto does get the run. And after half an inning of play, it is Toronto 1, and the White Sox coming to bat. But the Southside Hitmen aren't afraid of a 1-0 deficit. They are used to putting on the runs for sure. And Hargan, to make matters worse, Hargan was 0-3 with a 6.87 ERA. So he actually got traded to Texas and Atlanta throughout the season. So that's where his card is from, with all his combined totals. So here we go. Alan Bannister is going to lead things off. 1-9, and that's a ground ball to short. So handled over there by Mason. 1 away. Here's Royal Stillman. He gets his first action of the season. 5-7. He's going to strike out. So maybe a little rust there for Royal Stillman. They're giving Carr the day off. Here's George Orta. 5-9. 5-9. He flies to left. So Hargan didn't seem to be fazed by the White Sox Southside Hitmen. And after 1 complete, it's Toronto 1 and Chicago 0. As the White Sox went down 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the first. And that'll bring up Chris Knapp to try it again in inning number 2. Chris Knapp. He will be facing Sam Ewing, the right fielder. 3-6 for Ewing, and that's a base hit. 1-5 is a double. 6-20 is a single. So they're getting to Knapp early. It's a 6. It will be a single, no double, just a single. But they are hitting Knapp pretty hard, pretty early here. Here's McKay. He's an A bunter as well, so he may be doing some bunting. So he's going to lay one down. Sacrifice. That's a 9, and it's to the pitcher since it's a 1 there. He's a B bunter. B bunter 9 is a sacrifice to the pitcher, so it's a good sacrifice. Call it again, 1-4 on the sacrifice. Moves Ewing to second, so he's in scoring position with 1 out for Gary Woods, center fielder. Gary Woods, a 1-5, and he strikes out. So that's 2 down. It is now up to the catcher, Alan Ashby, number 9 hitter, Alan Ashby. Switch hitter, batting left. 2-9. He's going to fly to right, and that's going to end the inning. And small ball does not work out for Toronto that time. The sacrifice did not help as the runners stayed at second the entire inning. So we go to the bottom of the second. Still 1-0 Blue Jays. Hargan back out there, and he will be facing Richie Zisk. 5-2 off the pitcher cards. Ground ball to short. So Hargan finding the good numbers so far. Here's Jim Spencer. Spencer, a 3-10. 3-10 is a ballpark single check, which is 1-7 for tonight's game. Actually, 1-7. I'm sorry, 1-9. Didn't read that right. It's 15. Didn't matter anyway. It's a liner to second. So it's 1-9 for base hits, 1-2 for home runs, both lefties and righties. All right, here's Oscar Gamble, the DH, 2-4, and that's a ballpark single check, and it's again 1-9. And again, it's a liner to second. So Hargan retired all 6 White Sox batters he has faced, so he's bucking the odds early. When we go to the third, it is Toronto 1 and the White Sox 0. Chris Knapp back out. Kind of ironic that in the last video with the Cubs, in my little intro, we had Jim Cott asking people to take a rest on the cot, and then now we have a nap. So I guess you could have a nap on the cot if you really wanted to. If you wanted to go down a rabbit hole there. All right, here is the top of the order, Pedro Garcia. 5-7. 5-7, a 1's a double. Anything else will be a single. And it is a leadoff single for Garcia. Now Mason bunted him over the first time, and he's going to bunt him over again, or at least attempt to. It's a 10 though, so that could be problematic. He's A bunter turned into a B bunter with a 10. I'm sorry, it's a 9, not a 10, a 9. A 9 and a B bunter. Actually, that's going to work. 10 would have been bad. 9 works. 6 is the third baseman, so it's a 5-4 on the sacrifice. And Mason did his job. The reason he sacrificed, he only hit 187 on the season, so he's better off trying to bunt the guys over. Here's Al Woods. We get a 1-7 for Woods. It's a ground ball first base, A. So that will advance the runner to third, but now there are 2 outs. And it's going to be up to Ron Fairley to get the run home. 2-8, and he'll do it. 2-8, 1-15 rather, is a home run. And 16-20 is double, so it could be a 2-run homer here for Fairley. And it is. So Ron Fairley, a 2-run shot, did fairly well for himself, and that's a 2-run homer. And in very unlikely fashion, the Blue Jays lead it 3-0. Somewhere Dave S. is applauding. Here's Doug Alt. 3-10. That's a ballpark single check. Again, 1-9. It's a 5, so that will be a base hit. So ballpark single for Alt. Alt's not much of a base stealer, so he's not going to go anywhere. And it brings up Sam Ewing, right fielder. Ewing, a 5-8 against a lefty. 5-8's a ground ball second base X. We look at our defense. Orta, 4E23. 4-1. That's going to get through for a base hit for sure. 2 stars. And that's a 9. And he is an E23. E23, there is no 9, but it's a single 2 stars. And that will put runners at the corners with 2 outs. So the inning continues. As Knapp trying to get that final out and put this inning to rest. Here is McKay for 8, and that's ground ball second base X. Order's going to get another chance. 7, I think he'll get to that. Let's see. A 4 and a 7. 4 and a 7. Yes, he does. 4 and a 7 is a G3, so he barely gets to it. Check an error. There's an 8, E23. There is no 8. So Orta gets to it and throws over to Spencer to end the inning. But the Blue Jays make it a profitable one. And at to 2.5, it is Toronto 3 and the White Sox nothing. So the Southside Hitmen need to get their hits going here against the beleaguered, usually beleaguered, Steve Hargan, who is pitching more like Dave Stieb than Steve Hargan. Here's Soderholm, 5-7, and that's a leadoff walk. That could be problematic. You don't want to start walking guys. Here's Chet Lemon. Lemon, a 3-5, is a strikeout. So that is back on track if you're Hargan. The strikeout on Lemon brings up Essien, number 9 hitter. Essien, a 3-3. Ground ball third base A. That's a 5-4-3 around the horn double play. And he has faced the minimum through 3 innings and enjoys a 3-0 lead. We've completed 3 at Comiskey. It is Toronto 3 and the White Sox nothing. And Chris Knapp needs to turn things around or else he won't be in the game much longer. He's only a 5 on his fatigue, so the bullpen's already loosening. Their long man, Francisco Barrios, is loosening in the bullpen. 6-4 for Knapp. That's a ground ball third base X. That's Soderholm. And Soderholm, look at his numbers. He is a 2E11. 2 and a 2. They're getting some bad D20 rolls. 2 and 2 is a single. And 11 and 11 is not there, so it's just going to be a single. But even so, those low D20 rolls are sneaking. They're getting ground balls sneaking by the infielders. That'll bring up Alan Ashby. Now, he is an A bunter as well. But they're going to go ahead and have him swing away, I think. They're going to forgo the bunt this time. 3-11. Fouls out to the catcher, Essien, and there's one away. back to the top of the order for Garcia. He's 1 for 1. Got hit by a pitch and singled, and he scored 2 of the 3 runs. Doing exactly what a leadoff hitter is supposed to do. 4-2, fly to left, and that's out number 2. He's already had 3 at-bats in 4 innings. Here now is Jim Mason. He's bunted twice. Now he's got to finally swing away. 3-9, and he grounds to second, handled by Orta. And the inning is over. So we go to the bottom of the 4th. Still 3-0 Blue Jays. And Hargan will come back out, and he will face the top of the order, Alan Bannister. Bannister grounded to short his first trip. 1-6 is a walk. So a leadoff walk. Not what you really want to do. Although he did it last inning, and it did not hurt him. But you can play with fire just for so long. Here's Stillman. 6-6. Stillman's a lefty. 6-6, and there you go. 1-11 is a double. 12-20 is a single. 2 stars. It is a 12. It's a single with 2 stars. So all of a sudden, runners are at the corners with nobody out, and the big boys coming up. Orta, Zisk, and Spencer. Well, here's Orta. 1-6 for Orta. 1-6 is a home run. 7-20 would be a sac fly. So they're going to get on the board one way or the other. 1-6 would be a 3-run homer. 17, so it's a fly to left, and that's going to be a sacrifice, as it's a fly to left B. So it's a sacrifice that Bannister will score. White Sox finally on the board. It's 3-1. Only 1 out though, and here's Richie Zisk. Zisk, a 5-7, and he's going to draw a walk. He's going to put 2 on with 1 out. For a couple of big lefties, Jim Spencer and Oscar Gamble. So Hargan in the danger zone right here. That is a 6-9 against a lefty. But he gets out of it with a double play. How about that? Ground ball, second base A. 4-6-3. So Hargan uses the double play to his benefit once again. Gives up the 1 run, but that was it. Could have been worse. We go to the 5th. It's Toronto holding a 3-1 lead over the White Sox. And this will be the fatigue inning for both pitchers coming up. They both have a 5 there, so keep an eye on them. Right now, Al Woods will lead things off. Left fielder. 3-3. He's going to pop to first, handled by Spencer. 1 away to bring up Ron Fairley. 2-10 for Fairley. That's a extra base hit possibility. 1-8 is a double. 9-20 is a single. It is a single. So Fairley 2 for 3. Home run and a single brings up Doug Alt. Alt a 4-3. That's a ballpark home run chance, but again only a 1-2 for Comiskey tonight. That's a 5, so it will be a fly to left. 2 down. Sam Ewing. We get a 4-11 against the lefty. It's a fly ball left field X. That's Royal Stillman. And Stillman, not a very good left fielder either. And he will be a 4-9. 4 and a 6 is questionable. We can get to that. Let's check it out here. A 4 and a 6 he will not get to. It's a single 2 stars. And this is a 17. He's an E9. There is no 17, but it will be a single 2 stars. And Fairley will go to third. Runners are at the corners with 2 outs for Dave McKay. 5-8 and ground ball second base X. That's Orta. And Orta's already had a couple plays. He is a 4-E23. 4-4. That's going to get through for a hit. That will be another run. 4 and a 4 is an SI2. And again, it's a 17. He is an E23. And a 17 is a 2-base error on the E23. Look at that. 17 is a 2-base error. So let's calculate this. More trouble for Knapp. And that's probably all for Knapp. He's going to be put to bed after this. A single. And that will score Fairley. And then the 2 stars moves Ewing to third, but then the 2 base error will score him. No RBI given. And the 2 base error will move McKay to third base. So all that's said and done, Knapp is at his point of weakness now. They would like to get him through this inning, so they're going to see if he can get Gary Woods. 1-11, and they do. Ground ball to third. That's going to end the inning, but that's going to be all for Knapp. He's going to finish the game going 5 innings, giving up 5 runs, 4 of them earned. So 5 runs, 4 earned. And then they'll switch it over to Francisco Barrios. He will be the long man out of the bullpen for the Sox as they try to climb out of a 5-1 hole. Hargan now, if he gets through this fifth inning, he will qualify for a potential win, which he did not have any of in 1977. So maybe he can sneak his way through 5 innings. Here's Oscar Gamble, the DH. 5-2, and that's a ground ball to first. 1 away. He's got a dot on there, but he's not tired yet. Here's Eric Soderholm. 5-10. That's a strikeout dot, but he's not tired yet, so it's a strikeout. And here's Chet Lemon. 4-9. Fly ball to center, so he did it. Hargan has pitched 5 innings. They may keep him for a 6th inning because he has nothing against his fatigue right now. And he's pitching well, so you hate to take him out. So we go to the 6th. New pitcher for the Sox, the aforementioned Francisco Barrios. He will become a starting pitcher later in the season. He starts the season in the bullpen, although the majority of his time was with starting pitching. But they use him in long relief here in the month of April. So Barrios will be on to face Ashby to start the ball game. So Knapp goes 5 innings and he faces 26 batters. So here we go. Ashby to lead off. Switch hitter batting left. 6-8. 6-8 is a fly to right field. And Barrios gets the first out. Back to the top of the order, and Pedro Garcia. 3-7 for Garcia, struck him out. So 2 down. And that will bring up Jim Mason. 3-8, and he struck him out. So Barrios, very effective in his first inning. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Now let's see if Hargan can continue. There is action in the Blue Jay bullpen as Jerry Johnson, a right-hander, and Mike Willis, a left-hander, are both loosening down there. And Hargan will be facing number 9 hitter Jim Essien. Essien a 1-7. He's going to draw a leadoff walk. That's another leadoff walk. That is the 3 out of the last 4 innings have been leadoff walks, but only 1 of them has scored. He's used 2 double plays to diffuse a lot of that. May be in trouble now. Here's Bannister. 4-4 against a right-hander. It's a fly ball center field X. That's Gary Woods. And Gary Woods defensively is a 4-E3. So not a lot of range out there. But 12, I think he'll get to that. 4 and a 12, he should get to that. And there's a 10, so that won't be any problem for an error. 4 and a 12 is an F1. So he will get to that. And there is 1 away. Royal Stillman, batter. Stillman, a 6-11, and that's a walk off of Hargan. So he's starting to lose a little bit of control here. And 1 more batter, and he's going to get to his point of weakness very quickly. Here's George Orta. 6-9, ground ball second base A, but he does not have his point of weakness yet because he's only given up 2. So that dot does not come into play, but it is a 4-6-3 double play. And Steve Hargan has pitched 6 solid innings. 3rd double play the Sox have hit into. And it is a 5-1 game after 6 complete. Now I believe that's going to be all for Hargan. I think they're going to shake his hand and say great job. And we'll turn it over to the bullpen. Jerry Johnson will be the next reliever for the Blue Jays, right-hander. He will be coming in. And Hargan will go 6 solid and face 21 batters. So very, very good outing. And Johnson will come in and start the bottom of the 7th. Right now, Francisco Barrios will be starting off the top of the 7th in his 2nd inning of work, facing Al Woods. 2-9 for Woods. He's going to strike him out. So that's 3 strikeouts in a row going back to the last inning for Barrios. Here is Fairley. And Fairley, a 6-8 against a lefty. 6-8's a fly to right. So Barrios has retired 5 in a row. And he's going for 6 in a row right here against Doug Alt. 5-5, struck him out. He did it. So Barrios retiring all 6 he has faced through 2 innings. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. Score still remains Toronto 5 and Chicago 1. And we're going to get a new pitcher for the Blue Jays. But first, we have our 7th inning stretch.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Oh, it's root, root, root for the White Sox. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
All right, Harry's going to see if he can get the White Sox a rally going here as we start the bottom of the 7th. Richie Zisk could be the guy to get things started. 2-7. Oh, he just missed a home run. 2-8 would have been a homer. 2-7, that was a ground out to short. And it's been that kind of night for the Sox. And that's 1 away. And maybe it's a night game thing, because if you look at the schedule, the Sox played all-day games the first 5 games. Maybe this first night game is getting to them. Maybe they're like vampires. I mean, not vampires, like werewolves, where they turn at night and don't play as well. Here's Jim Spencer. Ooh, it's a 6-7 for Spencer. Ground ball, second base X. Second baseman is Garcia. And Pedro Garcia for Toronto at second base is a 4, E24. 4 and a 17, he'll get to that. It's a 9, so we'll checking the E24 and a 9. Second base, E24, there is no 9. It's a good play for, oops, wrong column there. What I was doing, was I? Let's fix that real quick. Helps to pay attention to what I'm doing. Make sure I'm in the right inning. Alright, so Spencer is retired. 2 up, 2 down. Here's Oscar Gamble, Jerry Johnson, retiring the first 2 he's faced. 3-5. It's a fly to right. That's going to end the inning. So Jerry Johnson did it again. Bullpen for the Blue Jays all of a sudden sticking it to the Sox, holding them to 1 run through 7 innings. That is very unusual, the way they've been hitting the ball. But it may just not be their night. Here's Barrios. He's back out for his 3rd inning of work. He's got a relief rating of 4, so he's good to go for the whole game if need be. Here is Ewing. 1-8 for Ewing. He's going to ground to first. And a handle by Spencer, 1 away. Here's Dave McKay. 3-5 for McKay. Struck him out. 2 down. So Barrios faring much better than Knapp. 3-4. Ground ball to second. That's going to end the inning. So Barrios retiring all 9 he has faced in 3 innings. So we go to the bottom of the 8th. He's given his team a chance to come back. They just haven't been able to do it. Jerry Johnson out for his 2nd inning of work. He's got a relief rating of 4, so he's, you know, obviously good to go for, you can get a 3-inning save if need be. Here's Eric Soderholm. 6-8, 6-8, that's a base hit. 1-6 is a double. 7-20 is a single. It's 2, it's a double for Soderholm, so maybe, just maybe, the White Sox will get it going this inning. Here's Chet Lemon. They may pinch hit for Essien, the catcher, because they're going to want some more offense than that. Let's see what Lemon does. 1, so we got a chance for a wild pitch. His wild pitch rating is a 7, so we'll check and see if he uncorks one. Whoop, can't see it back there. Let's re-roll it. Keep it on the score sheet. It's 13, so there is no wild pitch. So Lemon, so that continues. 3-11. Ground ball third base B, that will hold the runner. And there's one away. So we're going to get a pinch hitter for Essien. Is Bob Lemon looking for a little spark off the bench. Let's see, they're going to go to Ralph Carr, guy who had the day off. They're going to give Ralph Carr the at bat, and then Brian Downing is going to come in and catch in the top of the 9th. So we have Carr pinch hitting, and then we're going to have Downing catching. But the pinch hitter is Ralph Carr. And as I drop the D20. So Ralph Carr steps in against Jerry Johnson. 3-9. Fly ball to right. I'm sorry, to left. That's 2 down. So he failed. And just for kicks and giggles, 3-9 for Essien, who he pinch hit for. 3-9. He would have hit into a ground ball to short. Should have been out as well. So Carr fails on that. And here's Bannister, shortstop. That's a 2, so it's a chance for either a pass ball or a balk. Johnson has a 4 balk rating if it gets to that. We'll check and see. And it is a balk check. So 1-4, he will balk. He does not balk. He balks at balking. So here's Bannister. 2-6. 1-2. I'm sorry, 2-6 is a walk. I was looking at 3-6. 2-6 is a walk. Jerry catches me on that sometimes, or some other people do as well. Catch me on looking at the wrong number. 2-6 is actually going to be a walk. So that does put 2 on with 2 outs. And Royal Stillman, the batter, but they're going to pinch hit for Royal Stillman. He was only a 210 hitter all year. So Carr actually, I think, is going to stay in the game to play left field. So Carr is going to move over, and actually that means Downing's going to most likely come up here and bat in this spot. So I was premature on my score sheet. Downing's going to catch and stay there. Carr is going to stay in left field and bat in the 9 position. So after the pinch hitter, who is Lamar Johnson, he will pinch hit for Stillman. And then Downing will come in to catch. So I need to come over here and put Johnson pinch hitting. Boy, this is getting messy. I should have done a little bit better job of this. But Johnson is pinch hitting. And then, in fact, I'm going to use, let me clean this up a little bit. I need to clean that up just a little bit so it's not so confusing. Because I got to go back later and put this in the computer, and I'm not, and you know, if I do this tomorrow or the day after, I'm going to look and say, what in the world is going on? And I don't really want to go back and watch the video to figure it out. So it is Lamar Johnson pinch hitting, then Downing's going to catch and bat in the number 2 spot. But right now it's a big chance for Lamar Johnson. He's got a very good column 2, if he can find it. Now he found column 1, 1-9, struck him out, and that's going to end the inning. So Johnson does it again, and let's look at Stillman. 1-9 for Stillman. He would have struck out, so it didn't matter anyway. They both struck out on 1-9s, so it really did not matter the way it turned out. So now, got to make sure Carr is in left field. So I got to get his card back into play. I was almost taking him out of play, but You bring Ralph Carr out and put him in the number 9 spot in the order. And Downing's in the number 2 spot. Alright, now we're straight. We go to the top of the 9th. Barrios, no reason to take him out as well as he's pitching. So he will be in there to try to keep it right where it is. Facing Alan Ashby. 3-2, that's a ground ball to second. 1 away. So again, nothing doing for the Jays off of Barrios. 6-9 for Garcia against a righty. They got to Barrios this time. 1-9 is a triple. 10-20 is a double. It is a double for Garcia. His second hit of the game. He's in scoring position with 1 out for Jim Mason. Mason, it's a 2, so it's a chance for a balk, which is 0. And a chance for a pass ball on Downing, the new catcher. And Downing does not have a pass ball rating, so there's no pass ball to worry about. Re-roll. 4-11 against the lefty. That's a ballpark single check. It's a 1-9. 1-9 for a single. It's an 18 though, so he's going to line to second for out number 2, and it's up to Al Woods if the Jays want to extend the lead. 4-10 against the lefty. It's another ballpark single check. 4-10. Again, it's a 1-9. It's a 7, so he does get the base hit. It's 1 star, so it will not score the run. It will put runners on the corners with 2 outs. As I'm knocking over my white out, just leave it down there. Let's see here. Let me double check and make sure I'm not messing this up. I think it's 1 star, but I just want to make sure it's not 2 stars. I don't think it is, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Nope, single 1 star. That's what I thought. Okay. Ron Fairley. 5-6 against the lefty. 5-6, ground ball to first. That's going to end the inning. So Barrios pitches 4 shutout innings of relief. How about that? In a losing cause, albeit, but he did it. So now we go to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance for the Sox. They're going to let Jerry Johnson see if he can get that save. And the bullpen is ready. Pete Vuckovich and Mike Willis are both in the bullpen if needed. And they're both just about ready. Here's George Orta. Orta, a 5-11. 5-11 to fly ball to center. And that's 1 away. So the Sox 2 outs away from incurring their first loss here to Richie Zisk. 5-7. That's a single. So Zisk with a 1-out single keeps things going. And that'll bring up Jim Spencer, and we're tempted to bring in the lefties. Lefty Mike Willis to face Spencer and Gamble, but that would take the save chance away from Jerry Johnson. So we're going to let Johnson keep going for 1 more batter at least. If he can't get Spencer, we'll probably take him out. I need the decide or die to figure this stuff out. 2-7. Spencer 2-7, fly to center. That's 2 away. So Johnson gets a chance to finish things out here against Oscar Gamble. He wants to leave Vuckovich and Willis in the bullpen. Doesn't want to see him. 4-5 against the lefty. 4-5. Ground ball shortstop X. It is up to Jim Mason. And Jim Mason at short is a 4E22. 4 and a 6 is probably going to be a base hit. 4 and a 6 is an SI1, so it will be a base hit. That's an 11, and he is an E. He is an E. Where'd he go? Where is an E22, and that is an 11. E22 and an 11 at short. No 11, but it is going to be a base hit. 1 star. So the inning continues. Gamble singles, moves Zisk to second. So now that puts Soderholm at the plate. And right now, he is at his point of weakness, Jerry Johnson, because he's given up 4 over 2 innings since reaching his point of weakness. So, oh, actually, no, I'm not. His relief is 4, so he's not at his point of weakness. My bad. He's not at his point of weakness yet. 6-5 is a walk. Well, that's even more problematic. Now the bases are loaded, and I think they're going to go to Vuckovich. They gave Johnson every conceivable opportunity to finish this game, and he just couldn't quite close the door. So Roy Hartsfield says, you know what, Jerry, I gave you the chance, and I went as far as I could with you, and it just didn't work out. So since the tying run is now at the plate, we better do something. So they're going to, I guess, who you would call their closer during the early part of the season anyway, and that's Pete Vuckovich. He was a starting pitcher as well. He did have 8 saves though, so that's what we're going to go with, Pete Vuckovich. And Johnson goes 2 2/3. Couldn't quite seal the deal. 27, 30, 7 and 7 is 34, so that was 13 batters faced. All right, so this is it. Chet Lemon, chance to tie the score with a long ball. 5-9, but he's going to strike out, and that's the ball game. Struck him out, and Vuckovich pitches to one batter and gets the save, and puts the first loss in the column of the White Sox. It just goes to Chris Knapp. He will take that loss. And the Sox leave them loaded at the end. Final score of 5-1. I'll do the totals in just a moment. And just out of curiosity's sake, we'll see if Jerry Johnson on a 5-9, what he would have done. He would have had a strikeout, but then we would have seen whether he was at his point of weakness or not. I think he may have been, so didn't want to take that chance. And Pete Vuckovich, might as well bring a fresh arm in there. And he did it. And the Blue Jays defeat the White Sox by the score of 5-1. Be right back with the totals. Okay, wrapping up the totals from Comiskey. Line score: Blue Jays 5 runs, 11 hits, no errors, 8 left. The White Sox 1 run, 4 hits, no errors, and 6 left. Winning pitcher was Steve Hargan. He was 0-3 in the 77 season, but he pitched 6 innings, only allowing 1 run and 1 hit. That's all he gave up, was 1 hit. He did walk 5, struck out 3, but benefited from a couple of double plays, 3 to be exact, in 3 out of the 4 consecutive innings. The 3rd, the 4th, and the 6th, he got double plays to get him out of jams. And then Johnson went 2 2/3 in relief, gave up 3 hits, no runs, walked 2, struck out 2. Vuckovich got the last out by striking out Lemon to end the game to get the save. Chris Knapp takes the loss, 5 innings pitched, 9 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, gave up 1 homer. That was to Ron Fairley. Didn't walk anybody, struck out 1, and did hit a batter. Francisco Barrios, hate to lose an effort like this in a losing effort, 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts. So the White Sox, with the loss, dropped to 5-1 on the season after 6 games, and they will be looking to come back tomorrow night, or the next night. Not sure what tomorrow night's going to be, but in the 77 world, tomorrow night for them is April the 16th, where they will have a day game. So maybe the next 2 nights or next 2 games will be day games. Maybe they will improve their luck by getting out of the nighttime and into the day. You know what? Those are the lyrics to the Walk of Life by Dire Straits. Going out of the nighttime and into the day. I believe there's a line in that song that says that. So we'll see if they can do the Walk of Life. And so the next game, and what I may start doing is I want to do all the White Sox games, video at least the majority of their games. I might start cutting back on some of the Cubs games, but I do want to play at least the opener on camera. I may play the next 2 offline. But the first game of every series, I kind of want to do that for the Cubs, and then for the White Sox, I kind of want to do all the games of the series. The one I'm really looking forward to is coming up. It's the 2 games with California. And that's going to be game 1 of that is Frank Tanana, and game 2 of that is Nolan Ryan. So it'll be quite the matchup there, and we'll see how that goes. So, but from here, the White Sox suffer their first loss against the so-called lowly Blue Jays by the final score of 5-1. Hope you enjoyed that presentation of the 1977 Chicago White Sox project, Strat-O-Matic Baseball. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.